This is the first screencast demonstrating the Metadata Form Creation System, or MFCS. MFCS is WVU Libraries' answer to provide an easy-to-use way for librarians, staff, and students to enter metadata for its items in our digital collections in a delivery and repository agnostic way. The ultimate design goal for MFCS is to provide libraries with a robust system to store and archive digital projects, finding aids, and other material that will ultimately live in a system such as Hydra, Islandora, DLXS, or any of the other choices without having to worry about lock-in or complex upgrade or migration paths between digital repository systems. As systems change, become obsolete, or updated, the only change that should be needed to migrate from one system to the next are new or updated export scripts for MFCS. MFCS was also designed to be WVU Libraries' archival solution for our digital items that are associated with metadata, and provide a revision control system for those items. Okay, first we're going to start by taking a look at a simple one-field form. This form is the simplest form that you can have. It's got the required title field. The field can be named anything. We generally call it title WVU Libraries. So under test 1, new object, test 2, new object, test 3. So now if we list the objects, we list them by form. We have test 1, 2, and 3. And we can edit those. So we forgot to we put a space in there for test 1, so let's go back and edit that, take that space out, update it. Now if we look at the list, you can see it's there, it's been edited here, and we can go up here and look at the revisions. So the initial revision had test 1 with a space in it. It's like, oh, we actually should have had that space in there, so we can revert to that revision. Go back to the objects edit page, and now it's listed there. And since we've decided that it needs to have the space in it, let's go ahead and edit the other two as well. Now both of those have revisions as well. No space, space, and when we look at the form, the spaces have all been added. Okay, now we're going to look at a slightly more complex form. This is a title field plus a digital object. And like before, digital objects can be called anything you want. And it's got this select files box. So let's go ahead and enter test 1. We're going to drag a file over, drop it in, submit, and now it's been uploaded. We can view our Files tab, we can download all the files that are associated with this as once, if there are multiple files, and then we can also preview and download the file from here. So we can view the original file, which is this TIFF that came out of our printed ephemera collection, and we can view the converted file. So the conversion automatically, in this case, just made it smaller and converted it to a JPG, and it also had it create a thumbnail on the fly. Okay. So now let's take a look at the revision control with digital objects. So we'll upload this second one here. Oops. Here. Update. So now the files, when you look at it, the file name has been changed. It's obviously a different file. Go ahead and close that. Now we have our revisions here. So our previous revision here, we have our digital objects, click to list, click to list, click to list. You can see that it's 1 and 1. We can revert back to this one. view our page, view our files, and now it's back to the original file that was uploaded first. So not only does the revision control system control the metadata, but the digital assets are not deleted during updates, they're kept in revision control as well. Our next example form is going to allow us to upload multiple files. The conversion process for this form is to OCR the files and combine them into a single PDF document. So I'm going to grab two files. And as you can see with the upload, these files are bigger than the last ones. 50 meg and 55 megabytes in size. So the OCR process will take a little bit of time. It's probably going to take about 45 or 50 seconds for these two files. Now, these files came out of our printed ephemera collection, and the documents in that collection range from single pages to several hundred pages. So what I did for this form is I turned on background processing and have cron job run nightly that processes the files in the background so that when the form is submitted, it submits instantaneously. Now the files are uploaded. One of the files didn't OCR properly, but that's okay. It's expected and it does happen. Okay, so now we have two files listed here. If you clicked on download all zip files in zip, it'll download them as a zip archive. Click on preview, combine thumbnail, takes the first picture in the thing and combines and downsizes to a thumbnail for you. And preview, combine PDF. Now this created a two-page PDF from those two documents. As you can see, text is individually selectable. And this is probably where the OCR had a problem, is on these lines with these numbers over here. And then we can select sources there. We can download the file, open it up in we can show it in the Finder and open it up in Preview. Now that it's open in Preview, we can search for River, and it finds it and highlights it, so the file is OCR'd properly. The last form that I want to demonstrate before demonstrating the form creation process is the printed ephemera collection. The printed ephemera collection was our first collection that moved into MFCS from our previous solution, and this is a database dump of that collection from the live server. This form shows all of the various fields that this collection uses, as well as a developed left-hand navigation for the system. Now, the release to public is if the document is not complete, that won't be turned to yes. And then in some cases, they didn't want the digital items that were uploaded released to public, but they're still in the system and being archived. Identifier in this case is managed by hand and not by the system. Title field is a required field, but again, it can be called anything. And these other fields are just single text fields. And then we have a couple, what you see is what you get, editors for being able to do more robust text editing for the abstract. And then down here we have multi-select boxes. Now these are for subject headings, create personal name, create corporate name, and then subject, personal, corporate name, and these are controlled vocabularies. Now these are created in another form in the system, and we can select one and select another, and it adds multiple in there, and then you can remove from there as well to edit. This is a single drop-down box that's a controlled vocabulary as well. And then you have your upload, and in this upload it does OCR and combined to a single PDF document, but does the processing in the background so that when the form submission, it's instantaneous instead of having to wait for it to convert. These drop-down boxes up here are just standard drop-down boxes and are not from a controlled vocabulary. Over on the left-hand side here, we have Add a New Record, which just reloads this blank form for adding a new record. Creator personal names. These forms, when I clicked on here, pop up a modal box with the information here so that you can enter a new one, and we'll just enter AAA, save the changes. That's creator personal names, and now that creator personal name, it shows up here immediately, and if we deleted one, it would do the same. Types is the same way. This is the single drop down, and it's got these as well. And then you also have your export in here where you can export a file, and this is currently loaded into DLXS as image class. And we also have a file that Summon from Serial Solutions downloads weekly from us, and I generate that search file from here as well. Let's take a look at these metadata forms from another perspective. You have show metadata forms here, and you can go to them individually. So instead of being in the pop-up modal box, they're individual here where you can delete and manage them. You can move it to another list, or you can find all of the objects. Click on that, and you'll find all the objects that have that associated with it.